Client calls me up. He says he's 50 years old. He makes about 75K a year as a teacher. He's single and he just inherited $500,000 from his father. The $500,000 is all in a pre-tax 401k. He says, what are my options? I said, you basically got two. Take it all out now, pay a whole lot of tax on it because that 500K on top of the 75K that you're making is going to put you in the 35% bracket. I really don't like that option. Here's what I like. Roll that money into an inherited IRA. With the inherited IRA, he's going to have 10 years to take that money out. What that allows him to do is to take out a little chunk of money every year. Let's say $50,000 a year over the next 10 years, right? The account would be depleted. Let's forget about investment growth for a minute. So if we take 50K, add that to his 75K of income, well, now he's in the 24% bracket. So he's paying a whole lot less in taxes. The conversation gets a little more interesting. He says, well, I kind of like that idea because I don't need the money right now. And also, another potentially relevant factor is that I plan on retiring in about 6 years. So at 56, he wants to retire. I said, all right, well, that's even more points in favor of putting this into a inherited IRA account. Why? Because what he can do, and the law says that he has to take a minimum amount out of that inherited IRA every year. It's called a required minimum distribution. So, for the next 6 years, while he's working and making his $75,000, he can take out the required minimum distribution. And then in years 7, 8, 9, and 10, year 10 is when it needs to be fully liquidated, that's when he can take out even bigger chunks of money. Why? Because now he doesn't have his $75,000 of salary from being a teacher, so he could take out the same $120,000 and be in the 24% bracket. So it makes a lot of sense for this guy to open an inherited IRA, put the funds in there, take out at least the minimum amount every year because he doesn't have the money. Wait till he retires to start taking out bigger chunks of money. Now, if he were in a different situation, if he was a different person, maybe with a different age and some income needs, my analysis could potentially change drastically. For example, I had a 22-year-old receive an inherited IRA. They were at the very beginning of their career, and it was going to be several years until they crept up in tax brackets and started making 50, 60, 70K a year. So for that 22-year-old who also kind of wanted some money to buy a house, my advice was, you know what? Take out a bunch while you're in a relatively low bracket because 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, hopefully you're going to be in a much higher tax bracket. And that's not when you want to have to take out the lion's share of this inherited IRA. So, inherited IRAs, we've got some options. And really, what you do with it is very unique to your specific situation. Do you need the money? What will your income projections be over the next 10 years? You got to create a tax plan. Hey, my name is Arash. I help people create plans to pay less in taxes. Did you know if you like, subscribe, and comment on my videos, you will automatically save 10% in taxes? Okay, that's actually not true. Also, I need to let you know that none of this video should be taken as tax advice. However, I would love to give you individualized tax advice. All you have to do is schedule a consultation on my website, link below.